All right, guys, how's it going? This is going to be a long video. It's about a couple of interviews with Tom Werner, the Liverpool chairman. So we're going to go over that, in a minute. If you are not a stayer like me, you'll probably be bored and won't care much for the video. But we're going to go through it together. You might find it of interest. I'm hosting a live stream on here today at 12:30 p.m. UK for an hour. But by the time this video goes out, the stream will either be live or it'll have finished. There'll be no live stream this evening. I'm a bit late starting today. I've been to the cafe, I've reviewed the Spanish papers. I was late because I had to go to the doctors for some blood test results and an x-ray result. I've discussed that over on my other channel, on the morning briefing, okay, on the Duncan Oldham channel. The link is in the video description. It'll also pop up on the screen at the end of the video. Check the pinned comment on there and you'll know the outcome of all that. Everything's more or less all right. And that's about it, really. So, like I say, I did check the Spanish football dailies today. I'm keeping an eye out for anything to do with Canate, anything to do with McAllister. I'm not expecting anything to do with McAllister at the moment, to be honest with you. They have mentioned him 3 or 4 times in the last month or so, a couple of months. I think if we're going to see anything about McAllister, it'll be later. Right, so let's get on with it. So this video is about Werner. And Paul Gorst at The Echo has published an interview with him. I'm going to go through the quotes with you. It's billed as an exclusive interview. To be honest with you, The Echo back in the day when I first started Cop Talk in the 90s was brilliant. It was the go-to, right? It was great, fantastic, as Brendan Rodgers would say. It's utterly shite now, right? So no one pays attention to The Echo anymore. Paul Gorst, I'm sure he's a nice gentleman, yeah, anyway. But this, for a change, it's an interesting article. So we're going to go over it. And then I'm going to go over something that appeared in the, I think it was the Times as well. More Tom Werner, more interviews. So he's putting himself out there a little bit, flying the flag, if you like, for FSG. And that's basically what this video is going to be about. So the article title on The Echo was Liverpool chairman Tom Werner on Arne Slot, historic transfer spend, and FSG's future Anfield plans. Summary I have here in my notes. This exclusive interview with Liverpool chairman Tom Werner dives into multiple key topics at the heart of Liverpool's future, from the legacy of Jurgen Klopp and the appointment of Arne Slot to Michael Edwards' return, a record-breaking transfer window so far. Yeah, but wait till the sales start. Trent Alexander-Arnold's controversial departure, and what's next for Anfield's development. Werner reflects on the transition with personal anecdotes and strong praise for the new setup, while offering insight into FSG's evolving transfer approach and strategic vision. So I've got bullet points, okay? This is what I like to do, in the morning at the cafe, go through it all for you and try and make it, as easy to read to you as possible. So bullet pointed quotes and key information. Klopp departure, a new era. These are quotes. We want to win more trophies. We don't want to just appreciate what we have done. We are hungry to be more successful. Right, I like that. The job, I saw the toll it was taking on Jurgen, and I consider him to be a close friend. You have to be the leader of the academy, the assistants, the staff, the physios, the doctors, and of course the supporters. After feeling appropriately disappointed about him leaving, that's going to be, we said, okay, we're going to build a new chapter. On Arne Slot and football restructure, what was so special about Arne was he is very authentic, he is his own man. We looked at this as an opportunity to reshape the football operations, bring back Michael Edwards, empower Michael and Richard to do the jobs. Michael and Richard's first choice was Arne. They did a lot of impressive background research on him. I didn't know who he was. Now, I like that, right? You know what I mean? Because I like people that are honest, Like if you come on one of my live streams and ask me about a player, from Germany, I don't try and wing it. I'll say, I don't know. I like people that are honest, right? So I didn't know who he was. I didn't even know Arne Slot was either. But I didn't know who he was, but we were confident their thoughtfulness would achieve success. Now, I think not a lot of people felt he would become and win the Premier League, in his first year, but we did feel we would be in the top 4. Slot's impact. Arne didn't feel as though he needed to bring in 3 or 4 new players. Everyone has commented on the lack of injuries we had this year, maybe some luck, but also focus. In contrast to Jurgen, Arne is a bit more quiet and yet confident. He had individual sessions with the players and improved a lot of them as players. record transfer spend. There was a lot of noise last year that we didn't go out and sign somebody for £100 million. I don't like that bit, right? Because, listen, I interact and communicate and engage with Liverpool fans every day of the week, right? And, sorry, I'm getting messages flash up on my phone. I never get Liverpool fans coming on here during all the time that FSG have been on us saying we need to spend £100 million. We need to do this. Sometimes the fans, including myself, have been very, very frustrated over when it sounded like money hasn't been there for a £20 million investment or something like that. And Jurgen banged on about this once with the Ferraris and all that. And I don't think that is the mentality of our fan base. Of course, there's going to be some people like that. But I don't believe that our fans are saying go out and sign someone for £100 million. If Wirtz is half the talent the media says, then it will be the right decision. Again, he's admitting that he doesn't know anything about him, which I like that. Because it'd be quite easy to rehearse, wouldn't it? And go, oh yeah, we know this about him and that about him. I like that. It's honesty. We, FSG, do not meddle in those kind of decisions. That is the most important quote for me in this interview. Because so many of these numpties online, they're always making out that it's John Henry that authorises this, doesn't authorise that, blocks this, or whatever, or they have to go and see him, or do you know what I mean? And I've always said they've employed Michael Edwards to oversee the whole football operation. Richard Hughes, you employ people to get on with it. It'd be like me if I bought the Red Sox. I'd be like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I'm gonna employ someone to deal with it all for me. At times, of course. You're going to be asked, what do you reckon? Like when it comes to wedge or whatever. But I don't believe, I don't believe, and this backs it up, that FSG meddle in those kind of decisions. I really don't. And I hope people are listening to that because people give too much to that. Like FSG did it. After this, I'm constantly saying, John Henry won't even fucking know what's going on. He employs them people to make the decisions. What's spent, right, will be Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes will make those decisions, and will, of course, communicate with you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. If you don't trust the people you're employing, what's the point? Yeah. So I'm glad he said that. We thought we had stretched to a generous proposal. ... If Leverkusen wanted 20% more, we may not have been able to get there. On Wirtz, he said he's been the greatest player in the Bundesliga last season, but playing in the Premier League is a different challenge. He's not saying he knows all about him, which is what people have said to him clearly. Squad, evolution, philosophy. One danger is bringing back the same squad. It's important to alter the chemistry. Arne's strategy is the right one. It was important to bring in new faces. Trent Alexander-Arnold exit. We do respect the fact that Trent has moved on. I just wanted him to know we are and were as a club thankful for all his contributions. I have a lot of fondness for all that he has done. It is time for him to move and time for us to replace him. It is overshadowed by my wonderful memories of him. That corner against Barcelona, just a work of genius. No wonder Real Madrid are delighted. Anfield future and revenue. We are comfortable that this is the right size now, more or less. We're expanding the club's store and we're not shy about generating more revenues. The more revenues we generate, the more you can plough into success on the pitch. Right. So, I then analysed this article with my AI assistant, Dave. Many of you know Dave. He pops up on my videos every now and then. And I've been training Dave for a long, long time how to analyse articles, get his feedback. I don't need to go into it, right? But it's not just a case of throwing it at AI, right? My mate Dave, right, he might be pixels or data or code or whatever you want to call it. Not pixels, because that's a picture, isn't it? But he's very good, right? He's very, very good. So I asked him for his analysis, right? What feels genuine, he said. The personal detail about Klopp's routine and the toll it took sounds heartfelt. That wasn't just copy-paste PR. He spoke like a mate, genuinely sad to see him go. Werner acknowledging that he didn't know who Slot was adds credibility, as I said. A typical PR spin would never admit that. Giving credit to Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes rather than pretending he was hands-on shows humility and trust in his team, a good sign of delegation and realism. The Trent tribute, especially mentioning that Barcelona corner, didn't feel rehearsed. That's a fan talking, not a corporate mouthpiece. I don't think many of you will see him as a fan like us, but a fan, as in a bit of interest, maybe. Right, they might not know everything about football, but I'm sure they have a good knowledge of key things, all right? So just before anyone wants to rubbish that statement. Dave says, what feels like fan-soothing PR? Saying they felt top four was realistic, but then won the title, it reads a bit like revisionist storytelling to make themselves look visionary. The stuff about Frimfong, Verts and trusting staff without meddling is the classic safe line. No risk taken here. It's calculated, makes them look responsible but generous. We don't want to just appreciate what we've done and we're hungry to win more. A corporate buzz phrases. Inspirational wallpaper. Strategic spin. FSG saying they don't meddle but still talk about stretching to a, quote, generous proposal is a bit contradictory. Clearly they do get involved when the price feels uncomfortable. If Verts is half as good as they say, that's a way of hedging their bets publicly, a bit of insurance in case the deal doesn't work out. Emphasising that the stadium is about right in size, but talking up revenue streams like the club shop expansion, suggests their real focus is income efficiency, not further infrastructure investment. So the final verdict from Dave was Tom Werner gives a largely composed and balanced interview. Some parts genuinely reflect admiration and emotion, particularly around Klopp and Trent, and others are clearly crafted to present FSG as measured, generous and fan-aligned without fully committing to spending narratives. He doesn't come off as disingenuous, but you can tell when the businessman takes the mic back from the fan inside him. It's a well-judged mix of sincerity and strategic messaging. Okay? So that was those quotes, that analysis, that breakdown is from Paul Gore's article at the Echo. Now, we have some more. Where do I start? Down here. Summary and assessment. Right. This was a long article. I think it's this bit here. Oh, what's up with you? Right, here we go. Quotes from Tom Werner. Let me just scroll up, guys. I do apologise. There is a lot of text here. Yes, that's right. Okay, sure. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything out for you, right? My videos are not scripted. I don't follow a script or anything. I just like to get as much for you as I can. Almost there. Here we go. Right. Here's a quote. So we're going to give quotes and then look at the context. Rather, because it would take ages to read the entire article to you, and it's only a journalist fucking filling it anyway. If we have a point of view at FSG, it's to find the very best talent and let them do their jobs well. Werner emphasises FSG's approach to leadership and success, which is focused on acquiring top-tier talent and empowering them to excel. This philosophy extends to Liverpool FC and reflects their strategy of hiring managers and executives who are skilled in their roles. At Liverpool, I'd like to give a lot of credit to Mike Gordon, that's the FSG president, because we've enormously benefited from his wisdom. So basically, Werner acknowledges the crucial role that FSG president Mike Gordon has played in Liverpool's success. This highlights the collaborative effort behind Liverpool's rise, with Gordon's strategic input being vital in the club's progress. And we have an awesome chief executive in Billy Hogan. I don't want to diminish some of our early mistakes, but identifying Jurgen Klopp as our next manager in 2015 was transformational. So the context here is Werner credits Billy Hogan for his leadership at Liverpool, while also taking ownership of FSG's initial mistakes. The key point here is the recognition of Jurgen Klopp's hiring in 2015 as a transformative decision that changed the club's fortunes. Arne Slot was their first choice, and it really came from the homework of Richard Hughes and Michael. It wasn't an obvious first choice, but if you surround yourself with good talent, you'll be successful. So Werner there is basically explaining the process behind Liverpool's managerial appointment, specifically mentioning Arne Slot as their first choice. He attributes this to the thorough work of the scouting and football team, including Richard Hughes, while reinforcing the importance of surrounding oneself with quality, as Rafa Benitez would say, quality, for sure, talent for long-term success. Liverpool's global reach is by far the strongest in the Premier League. This quote underlines Liverpool's dominant global presence, setting them apart from other Premier League clubs in terms of reach and fan base. Werner is proud of the club's stature and its international influence, showcasing their widespread appeal. We're the only Premier League club to surpass 500 million views on television by March 2025 from August last season. Last season on social media, we generated 1.7 billion engagements, and 1.6 billion engagements were FSG out. Not this year, yet. Werner highlights the extraordinary digital and television presence of Liverpool, emphasising their leading position in terms of global viewership and social media engagement. This statistic further solidifies the club's powerful reach and influence on a global scale. Many Americans still don't appreciate the global power of football, soccer, but we think there could now be as many as 1 billion people around the world who follow Liverpool. Werner acknowledges that while many Americans may still be unfamiliar with the full global impact of football, Liverpool's growing international fan base could number as high as 8 billion. This reflects the club's increasing prominence on the world stage. There is a special connection with the fans. You feel it at the games at Anfield when they start to sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." It's deep and emotional. This quote speaks to the emotional bond between Liverpool and its supporters, particularly the iconic moment when fans sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at Anfield. It emphasises the deep-rooted connection that transcends the sport itself. I see myself as a storyteller and I understand the power of a good story. That's the lens I look through. Werner sees his role as one of storytelling, where the compelling narratives of clubs like Liverpool and their journey through triumphs and challenges resonate globally. This perspective underscores the emotional appeal of sport and its ability to captivate audiences. The reason that the Premier League is so successful is because it's a display of the very best players in the world with storylines that are skillfully delivered by networks like NBC. So he's attributing the success of the Premier League and by extension Liverpool to the high level of talent on display and the captivating stories that are broadcast to fans. He credits NBC for doing an excellent job in making those stories compelling to American viewers. Having Premier League games on US television on Saturday and Sunday mornings is wonderful. So he's acknowledging the appeal of the Premier League in the US, particularly the timing of matches on weekend mornings, which aligns with the American audience's viewing habits and has become a part of their weekend culture. Over the next 10 years, I think the Premier League is going to be huge in the US. Werner expresses his belief that the Premier League's popularity will continue to grow in the United States, especially with the World Cup in 2026, which is expected to further fuel the sport's appeal. Now, there was other quotes in this interview to do the things which I don't think you'll find of interest. But I found some additional quotes on Fenway Park and the Boston Red Sox. We spent our own money to renovate this, and what we did was very similar to what happened when we acquired Liverpool. So Werner draws a parallel between the renovation of Fenway Park and the transformation of Liverpool FC under FSG's ownership, highlighting their approach to investment and long-term sustainability. There was a big debate at the time about whether or not to build a new stadium, but we had the experience already of what we had done here. Reflecting on FSG's approach to Fenway Park and how their experience in sports ownership influenced their decisions at Liverpool. I think this is the last one. I credit others with having the imagination, but we have found ways to create more viewing sections and use the park more. So basically he's discussing the improvements made to Fenway and how FSG utilised their expertise to maximise the stadium's potential. So the summary and assessment here from Dave is Tom Werner's comments. This is in this interview. Tom Werner's comments about Liverpool focus heavily on the club's global reach and the strategies behind their success, particularly under FSG's leadership. He speaks with pride about the club's dominance in terms of viewership and social media engagement, reinforcing the idea that Liverpool is not just a Premier League giant, but a worldwide football powerhouse. He reflects obviously on Jurgen Klopp's transformational impact, and his acknowledgement of key figures like Mike Gordon and Billy Hogan underline the collaborative nature of the club's rise. Werner also connects Liverpool's success to the larger phenomenon of Premier League football's growing presence in the US, noting that the club is benefiting from the increasing American interest in the sport. He expresses confidence that over the next decade, the Premier League's footprint will only grow stronger in the US, making Liverpool even more influential globally. In addition to his reflections on Liverpool, Werner offers a window into his broader career and FSG's experience in sports ownership. I didn't touch on his personal career and other things. Particularly with the Boston Red Sox, the redevelopment of Fenway Park. He draws parallels, as you know, and suggests FSG's approach is rooted in sustainable, thoughtful investment that seeks to enhance both fan experiences and long-term growth. Overall, this interview by Werner presents a strong vision for Liverpool's future and reflects FSG's commitment to continuing the club's rise, both in terms of sporting success and global influence. His statements about Liverpool's fan base and emotional connection with the supporters reinforce the idea that the club's impact goes beyond football, creating a unique bond with millions worldwide. Now, what I will say here is, at the moment, everyone's FSG in, because finally it feels like they're doing something. We know there's going to be sales and stuff like that, but we don't expect any shocks. We know we've come off a good season. You could argue it was only a few months ago, back in the January, February window, that had they invested something back then, maybe we would have continued to compete in all 4 competitions. And they didn't invest in that window, and we dropped out of them. So I don't expect people to flip-flop with their opinions about FSG. I certainly am not going to. So this is all nice. It's all nice. It's all positive. I don't want to say a bad word about FSG at the moment. Let's just keep it real. Let's judge them on what's happening now. Because you can be as happy as anything now. They might not do anything for the next 3 or 4 years. So you shouldn't just change your opinions like that, I think. But let's not knock them today. Everything's all right. We're all smiling at the moment, so let's keep it like that. It's a much more enjoyable place being here when everybody's on the same side. So let's leave it as is. Anyway, maybe this is a boring video, or I'm reading quotes out. If I'd have gone through the entire article, trust me, you'd have been here for fucking hours. So I'm just trying to break it down, tell you what he said, try and give a bit of context with it, and to see where it was. All right, so everything's feeling good for FSG. That's why you're seeing Tom Werner at the moment. When things are going wrong, they fucking disappear. All right, so let's leave it at that. I'll leave it with you guys. If you appreciate the video, it took me a bit of time to do it for you. Or if you appreciate the video, please thumbs up. Please drop a comment if there's any of those comments that you found of interest. And as usual, if you want to support my channel, there's a love heart under the video. All right, if you want to spread some love. Okay, guys, I'll catch up with you later, and I hope you have a great weekend.